SonicWars.com.
It has been 5 months since I have read the first banned comic of Sonic the Hedgehog IDW Publishing Comics. This is my last semester of my community college. Since I will be receiving my associate's degree, arts, in December, this is what I would like to call the best Christmas present ever. I am also considering on attending the graduation walk with my fellow classmates who are graduating in May. I was originally going to walk in December, but after a bit of research throughout my college, I'm going to have to decide whether I should attend the walk or not. I thought I was done with this Sonic vampire propaganda, but I was wrong. It was Friday, October 11th, and I was chatting with my online friends. I agreed to them that I will not be using their real names for their privacy's sakes, but one friend in particular, who I'll call him Brandon, who asked me about Rise of the Vampire Hedgehog. I told him that I've read it before summer vacation, and unfortunately it got taken down from the IDW Publishing website. That was when Brandon began to spill the beans. He told me that he managed to get in contact with the individual named Alexander McFarland, and he stated that Mr. McFarland was the intern from the IDW Publishing from October 18th to May 2019. He wrote Sonic IDW Issue 31, Rise of the Vampire Hedgehog, but got fired due to posting a comic on the IDW website without Ian Flynn's approval. As well as the dark theme, Brandon stated that the Vampire Hedgehog saga was meant to be a parody of Dracula 1931, but it was too dark and disturbing for the younger readers, so he stated that McFarland wrote 3 more stories in addition to the first one. All these were part of the Vampire Hedgehog saga. This saga was meant to take place after the mental illness saga, and it was scrapped before he could release it. Brandon wasn't so sure if he wrote them as a joke or not. Regardless, I asked him if he had any of those free issues, and Brandon said that Mr. McFarland sent them to him before the interview. He was going to give him permission to read one of his saga, but he were to send it to someone else, and he had to keep quiet about it. I promised Brandon that I would not use his real name, and I gave it a read. Even though I was reluctant to send the issues at first, he ultimately agreed to do so. He emailed me the free comics of the IDW Publishing website. The titles were include Sonic IDW Publishing Issue 32, Regin of the Vampire Hedgehog, 33, Stage of the Vampire Hedgehog, and 34, Fall of the Vampire Hedgehog. Since I managed to get my schoolwork done for the week, I decided to read Sonic IDW Publishing Issue 32, Regin of the Vampire Hedgehog, which is apparently the second issue for this Vampire Hedgehog saga. The cover of the first one was the Chaotix, Vector the Crocodile, Espero the Chameleon, and Charmy B being surrounded by Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream, and Cheese as vampires. Just looking at the situation they were bound to be in, giving me goosebumps. I also saw the same robots with red eyes with sharp teeth right in front of them from the previous issue. Maybe because this could be explaining about the robots are there. As soon as I gathered my courage, I began to read the second issue to the Vampire Nightmare. This issue took place around after Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream, and Cheese became vampires. It was almost Sunset City at a city called Seaside City. Recently, in the Seaside City was in repairs both constructively and emotionally after the Zombot crisis. The Chaotix, considering a Vector the Crocodile, Espero the Chameleon, and Charmy B were hanging out in their office. I was relieved to see that Charmy was in flesh and blood again. For all those years you guys may have known who this team is. The Chaotix and is the detective agency for Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Vector let out a sigh before he spoke. I'm bored, he complained. There hasn't been any mysteries to come or crimes to solve ever since we got rid of the stinking mental illness. True that, Charmy agreed. But it's a good thing that I'm free because from that scary zombie sickness. Espero pets the young bee on the head. Yes, it's nice to have you back. Charmy hugs the chameleon. Just then they heard a knock on the door. Vector got up from his desk and began to wonder who it could be at the door. Before closing time, once he got to the door, he opened it expected, only to realize that it was none other than this puzzled crocodile was a bit, but he shrugged it off and closed the door. Charmy asked, "Hey, Vector, who was that at the door?" "I don't know," Vector answered. "Maybe it was some ignorant kid who decided to play ding-dong ditch." Just then they heard evil laughter from 3 people. They looked to see no one else in the office. "Stay close, boys," the green crocodile said, as Espo and Charmy huddled close together. But the power then got knocked out. Because of this, Charmy began to panic and freak out. "Oh no, the power is out! I'm afraid of the dark!" "Espo, Vector, please hold me." "Take it easy, Charmy," Espo reassured the frightened bee. "Maybe it's just a power outage. It will only last for a few minutes." Then the candles started to lit up in the room. In my mind, I asked myself, how did the candles get here? Did Chaotix even have the candles? I brushed off the confusion as soon as I saw 3 pairs of eyes appear in one direction one by one. First there were green eyes resembling Sonic's eyes, next there were blue eyes resembling Tails, and finally there were Knuckles' purple eyes. Sonic walked out of the shadows first to the great detectives. "Good evening, Chaotix," he said. He and his friends followed the blue vampire. "Our sincerest apologies for startling you, Free, but we wanted to visit you." When they saw that the friends Chaotix, they calmed themselves down. "That was no problem, Sonic," Vector said. "We're always happy to see you. What brings you here this time before closing time?" He then noticed that there was very fancy clothing on their capes. He had also had fangs replacing their regular teeth. "What's with those costumes?" Vector pointed out. "Halloween's not for a few weeks." "We're glad you asked," Tail answered. "We are just here to suck your blood." The young fox and his best friends revealed their fangs. Charmy laughed. "That's a good one, guys." As the bee flew close to Sonic, "I like your costumes. Are those fangs fake?" He was about to pull the fangs off to see whatever they were fake, only to find for the blue hedgehog to grab on his arm. He evilly stared at the bee and smiled a creepy smile, showing his razor-sharp fangs. "Oh no, Charmy," Nick said. "These things are real, but we need your blood, and we need it now." Charmy gasped, "What?" He started to try his best to loosen the hedgehog's grasp by squirming ahead and pulling away from him, but however, it was no use. Sonic's grasp was too tight. He pulled the bee closer and bit his neck, resulting in the hedgehog to drink the unfortunate kid's blood. Vector and Espero tried to come to Charmy's aid, but only getting Sonic to leave him alone. But they were both blocked by Tails and Knuckles. Because of this, they both had to watch their young tracker slowly losing blood. I was starting to be horrified seeing Charmy becoming one of those blood-sucking vampire creatures at night. I asked myself, why? Why did Charmy have to be a vampire? When could it have been just Vector or Espio? It's one thing for IDW Publishing to have Charmy being a zombot, but to have him become a bee vampire? That's going too far. Despite my sorrow for Charmy, I continued onward with the comic. After he was done with the poor bee, Sonic dropped him on the floor and wiped the blood from his mouth. I love the taste of honey and a bee's blood," he said as he laughed evilly. Even though Vector was to be brave for Charmy's sake, he was scared for his life. "Sonic, why are you doing this?" Sonic looked at the crocodile mangily before responding. "You didn't hear what I told Charmy?" He walked closer with his friends following him. "I told them that we needed blood, and we need blood to survive," Knuckles added. "And if not, we are then powerless." Then they heard Charmy groan. Sonic and friends turned to see that the bee was a bit different. He had some fancy clothing on the cape like the vampires had. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles walked in to check up with the kid on him. "Charmy, how did you feel?" Tails asked. Charmy felt a bit weak. When he looked up at Sonic and he had fangs on his teeth, "I need blood," he said sincerely. Lee smiled at the hedgehog. "That's a delightful because we have room for a lot more," Sonic said as they turned to the crocodile and the chameleon. "Who are you about to make a run for it?" "Let's get them," he said, as well as Tails, Knuckles, and Charmy pursued to arrest the Chaotix. Vector tried to defend himself with his singing voice to stun the vampires. However, Charmy lunged at him and started to suck his blood. Tails and Knuckles followed the vampire bee and began to suck the crocodile's blood. "Well, Espio, it seems that you're our last meal for now," Sonic said. Before he could make a beeline for the chameleon, Espio was thinking of taking Vector with him to escape from the vampires. But looking at the nose-shaped crocodile, he realized that there was nothing that she could do to help him. Thus, he needed to make a choice and leave the Chaotrix alone. Espio quickly made it out of there unscathed, but of course he was shocked at the sight of the vampire-like robots. It was already nighttime, and every night of the citizens of anthropomorphic animals to humans had been bitten by robots before becoming vampires themselves. Espio asked himself, what are these robots? I've never seen any of them anything like this. He turned to see Amy with her friends, Cream and Cheese, flying when they saw Espio, and they landed right in front of them. Good evening, Espio, Cream greeted. Amy? Cream? What is the meaning of this? Oh, these? Amy pointed at the robots. These are vampbots created by Dr. Eggman, she replied. They gave me a loving thirst for blood, Cream added. Do you like them? Espio became very angry and watched his victims suffering from these so-called vampbots. Girls, this is crazy, he demanded. You need to stop acting like this. Not until we have everyone's blood, Cream said. What do you mean? Espio asked. We need blood to survive, the pink hedgehog replied. Once we suck everyone's blood, we'll rule the world with darkness. Espio couldn't believe what Amy said. He just wanted to run away and seek shelter. Cream wanted to make an offer to the chameleon. Please join us, Mr. Espio, Cream pleaded. Let us drink your blood so you can have all the blood you want. Espio shook his head before responding. You can't have my blood. He stood his ground. This is mayhem. This nightmare has to stop. The two blood-sucking girls looked at him in such a disappointment. If you don't want us to drink your blood, then we'll have to do this the hard way, Amy suggested. Before they could attack Espio, Amy and Cream were both shocked and fell to the ground unconsciously. Cheese looked to see the vampire girls were all right, giving Espio enough time to find out who saved his blood. He saw Shadow the hedgehog, the flesh on the rope on the ladder, and then they tried to get up by the helicopter. It was such a blessing to see Shadow that he was intentionally cured from the mental illness. Anyway, he got out his chaos spear and defended the chameleon. Shadow asked Espio, "Are you all right?" "Yes," Espio replied. "Thank you." The ultimate life form at the ninja, however, it was short-term because the vampbots were more just as well as vampires, including Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Charmy, and Vector were all in pursuit for them. Amy and Cream got up from the ground, and they were about to lunge at Espio with Cheese to strike them. "Hop into the helicopter now," Shadow called. Espio climbed to the helicopter in the ultimate life form. Inside, Rouge was controlling the plane, while Whisper the Wolf was defending the front from the zombots. Some of the vampires began to climb up the rope ladder. When Shadow saw this, he said, "Whisper, cut the rope. I'm on it," Whisper said as she cut the rope to prevent any vampires from getting onto the helicopter. Whisper said, "Got it. Perfect," Shadow said as he turned to his teammate for Team Dark. "Okay, Rouge, let's head to Restoration HQ." "You got it, baby," Rouge said as she gave him a wink. She drove the helicopter back and they made their way to Restoration HQ, located in Central City. On the way there, Espio was beginning to compose himself. Once he calmed down, he began to ask the trio, "Why are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles drinking blood?" he asked. "And why was Amy and Cream talking about? What are these so-called vampbots? And how did they get to Seaside City?" Whisper looked at Shadow. "May I, Shadow?" "Yes," he told the wolf. "He must know the situation." When Whisper sat down to Espio to explain, she removed her mask from behind her face so she could explain the situation. "I'll tell you what's happening and how it got all started. That was just the end of the issue. I was rather shocked about how this turned out. I didn't know or couldn't believe that Espio was on his own for the rest of the Chaotrix. First the mental illness and now the vampbots. As much as I want now to know more about what this vampire apocalypse got started, I needed a moment to collect my thoughts. My thoughts were to not only have Eggman get what's coming to him, but to also have Espio, Rouge, Shadow, and Whisper find a way to bring Sonic and the rest of his game back from the darkness. I hope that answers this, and this vampire propaganda will be revealed in the next issue. In the meantime, I'll have to take a moment to prepare myself for Halloween, as it's only a few days away. And that, my little pretties, was Sonic IDW Issue 32, Regin of the Vampire Hedgehog. A Sonic and a Sonic Nick Lost comic creepypasta, written by Bailey Maloney. Thank you so much, Bailey Maloney, for the story. My final thoughts on the story? With the fact that the grammar and everything has been improved, and even though she fixed it, I actually have to say this one was actually a really good story. Like the storyline that is a good sequel to the first one, I really definitely say that this one is actually pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest right now, Bailey, that this was actually really good. I could say that there was a lot of, stuff going on to it. There's a lot of concepts when it comes to this. And, I'm going to be completely honest that the concept itself was just amazing. The fact that the concept, looks really amazing, I could definitely say that it looks, really, really interesting. Like, I'm going to be saying right now, Bailey, that this story was just awesome. Like, I'm being honest that the grammar was good, the concept was interesting, the paragraph structure was good, the sentence structuring, everything about it was just top-notch awesome. Now, I know this one was a little longer from the last time I reviewed it and read it, but I'm just going to try to keep the review as short as I possibly can. I like this story, and I actually found this one to be a really enjoyable creepypasta. Now, I could definitely say that this one actually was pretty good. This is actually kind of freaky. It's getting really freaky, but it's a pretty good one in the good way. Now, I could definitely say that you did an awesome job with this story, and there was a lot of time and effort put into it, which that's definitely something I'm going to be honest. Now, with that said, I'm going to try to keep the review as short as I possibly can. There's no negatives to say about this, so that's something I could say right now is there is no negatives about the story. I honestly found this story to be quite good. Now, I'm going to be honest right now and I'm going to say right here, right now, that this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to this, creepypasta, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story is a 10 out of 10. It's a great creepypasta, great concept, great time and effort, great everything about it, and I highly recommend you guys to check out this story. Well, it's on Google, Docs, by the way. So, yeah. If you guys want to read it, you could ask Bailey Maloney because she can do that. And as always, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done to make this story better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the channel Linus. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will get notified to when I upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you on the next video. Peace out.
Why, hello there, my little pretties. It's me, the Shadow Lioness. I hope you all enjoy my video of creepypasta. So, without further ado, if you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you want to survive my cave of terror, please hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Donate to my Patreon when you can. And the only way you're going to survive me in the cave is you're going to have to sub to me and press the bell for notifications so you'll get to know when I upload. Well, without further ado, my little pretties, I'll see you in the next video. Sweet dreams, my little